Hey guys, let's get more news from Dallas Cowboys, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Dallas Cowboys last won the Super Bowl on this day 28 years ago. Today is January 28th. The year is 2024. If you are caught up on your Dallas Cowboys history, then you know what today is. However, given that it has been so long, you will not be faulted for having no idea what we are talking about. Super Bowl 30 was played on this day 28 years ago. That was the last time that the Dallas Cowboys won, or even appeared in, the Super Bowl. It is strange to think that it has been so long. The Cowboys happened to win Super Bowl 28, aka 28, and at the time it was their 7th appearance and 4th title in franchise history. Consider that in the 28 years since the title they won 2 years later, that they have not even appeared in the NFC Championship game. Perhaps it is appropriate that this particular Sunday is indeed Conference Championship Sunday, as it is the ground that has eluded the franchise for almost 3 decades. This short offseason has made it feel like the streak is surely going to hit 29 years, but there is a whole lot of time to go before we know the answer to that. Happy anniversary. The Dallas Cowboys could be interested in Ron Rivera if Dan Quinn gets a head coaching job. The Washington Commanders fired head coach Ron Rivera on Black Monday after a 4-13 season. Rivera had already fired defensive coordinator Jack Del Rio and took over his play-calling duties in an attempt to save a lost season. Rivera's final season as Washington's head coach ended with an 8-game losing streak and a pink slip after 4 years with the team. New managing partner Josh Harris made the call to give Ron Rivera and his staff the season, but they failed and Harris moved on. Washington is currently searching for their next head coach, after hiring Adam Peters as their new GM. Ron Rivera said that he was open to taking a job as a defensive coordinator, and he wanted to keep coaching. His first, and only, reported interview was with the Philadelphia Eagles. Head coach Nick Sirianni went with Vic Fangio at DC and former Cowboys OC Kellen Moore at OC as he tries to prove that the end of this season was a fluke, and he can turn things around. The latest report of possible interest comes from another NFC East team. Ian Rappaport says that the Dallas Cowboys could have interest in interviewing Rivera if their current DC Dan Quinn gets one of the 2 remaining head coaching jobs. The Washington Commanders have a second, in-person interview scheduled with Quinn on Tuesday, and he's also interviewing with the Seattle Seahawks for their HC job. Washington also has several other candidates scheduled for in-person interviews early next week. Ron Rivera hasn't been a defensive coordinator before the final 5 games of the 23 season, since 2010 with the San Diego Chargers. Derrick Henry training in Dallas amid speculation over Cowboys move. The Dallas Cowboys have questions to answer at the running back position, and the answer could be Derrick Henry. Henry is one of the most recognizable RBs in the league, and as he plots his next move, his training is taking him to Dallas. Laws Nation created chatter on January 27 by sharing a video of Henry training at the Sanders Fit Performance Center. The Tennessee Titans RB is shown doing a variety of workouts with a trainer at the facility. The Cowboys should consider adding Derrick Henry to their roster, the Post reads. The ex-Titans running back is actively engaged in off-season training alongside Dr. Ashley Reichert, PT, DPT, at Sanders Fit in Dallas, Texas. As a free agent, Henry would be a great addition for the Cowboys. Henry is expected to depart the Titans and test free agency after first joining the team back in 2016. After Tennessee's final regular season game, he thanked fans in retrospect in what felt like a farewell speech. But it is important to remember that the idea of Henry joining the Cowboys is just speculation. In fact, SI.com's Mike Fisher is even stating that Dallas is not currently interested in signing the 4-time Pro Bowler. If the Cowboys do look to free agency over the NFL draft for their next RB, they could do a lot worse than Henry. Despite celebrating his 30th birthday recently, he has still been effective. Pro Football Reference shows that Henry averaged 4.2 yards per carry last season, totaling 1167 rushing yards and 12 touchdowns. Of course, Henry isn't hitting those totals without getting a ton of touches. He led the league with 280 rushes, but despite being the obvious spearhead of Tennessee's offense, he was still consistently producing. Dallas or any prospective suitor probably won't be able to get Henry back to the level of his 2,027-yard season in 2020, but teams seem to know the importance of a two-back system. The Cowboys got away from that in 2023 after Ezekiel Elliott was released. They utilized Tony Pollard as a lead back, and they were far less effective. Compared to 2022, Dallas totaled almost 400 less yards on the ground and averaged 0.2 yards less per attempt. While Dallas has significant steps to take in order to offer contract extensions and make signings, Henry should be available for a reasonable price. Although he's wrapping up a 4-year, $50 million, he's expected to take a sizable pay cut. Spotrac projects him for a $4.3 million salary. Considering his track record, that feels like a small investment. Even if the Cowboys were to sign Henry as a secondary back, his skills in short yardage situations would be huge. But that's where any team interested in Henry has questions to answer. Entering his 30-year-old season, should he be getting around 15 handoffs a game? Will he want to sign with a team if he's being used as the second option rather than the first? Whether the Cowboys look at Henry or not, his free agency saga will be one to monitor. And you fan, what do you think of the Derrick Henry situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.